Kakadosh Boker Tov. We're continuing with Halachot of Siman Samech Vav. Yesterday we spoke about a heter, which was a very interesting heter to do with stopping, right, Daled Amot, which means that you're not going to transport something more than Daled Amot, so you walk less than Daled Amot, you stop. The best is even to sit down, and then again you continue less than Daled Amot until you're going to get to your destination, because you have this package that you had with you. And what happened is that it was becoming Shabbat and you'd miscalculated the time. And since we are worried about it could be that because you're so worried about your money, you might actually do doraitas. So therefore we permitted such a thing. By the way, from here is where they learn the concept of going less than Daled Amot to do with the Netilat Yadayim of Shachrit. That if a person is in a place and he doesn't have the Netilat Yadayim Shachrit beside him, he should go pachot mi Daled Amot. Or the second, which is actually going to be a machloka between achronim, the second shita is this Seif Yud Aleph, which we're going to speak about today. Shulchan Aruch then brings down, after this halacha of going less and less than Daled Amot, transporting, he says if a person has his chavila on his, that means he's got his package on his shoulder, and all of a sudden he realizes that it's going to be Shabbat, so what is he allowed to do? He's allowed to run. He goes for the sprint run. He runs, he starts running. And then what happens? Right? He comes, he starts running, and then when he gets to his house, he throws into his house the package kilach yad, meaning like a shinui. He does something different, and he gets it inside of his house. But he should not go, right, or he cannot stop, right, because if not, so then it's again anua kirav anacha, which means that if he stops, now he's in a dilemma. So therefore, first of all, just to understand, when we were speaking about these halachot, obviously the first halacha is that if you're such a scenario where you're worried that you've got a wallet or you've got whatever it is that you have and you are traveling, and again, miscalculation of time, so the first thing is that you always give it to a goy. If you cannot give it to a goy, you would put it on an animal. Obviously, that's much less common nowadays, so forget about that. Then you have a cheresh shoteh katan. You would give it to a person that's not 100% there, or even to a minor. Then you would have the halacha of walking less than Daled Amot, right? And then you have this halacha of running. Now here, to do with this halacha of running, he says, since there's so many different poskim that nowadays there's no reshut rabim, a person is allowed to do either or, which means either they're allowed to go running, right? But again, running means that you're not supposed to stop, right? So therefore, don't start running like, I don't know what, if not, it's impossible to stop. But basically, you're running, right? But you're basically going quick. You're not just walking. And number two, you're walking less than Daled Amot, either or. Now, when we're talking about this halacha, some people say, and Sif Yud Bet, he brings down, some people say that this does not apply to a wallet, it only applies to a package that you have, and other people say that it does apply even to a wallet. Again, nowadays, since we don't have a Reshut Rabim Doraita, you could be lenient. So this is what I mentioned, that this is actually going to come out of machloket. What happens if a person does not come and does not have Netilat Yadayim Bichlal whatsoever beside him? What is he supposed to do? So in the beginning of Shulchan Aruch, they actually bring down, the Sharet Shuvah brings this down, that what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to come and you're supposed to walk less and less in Daled Amot. Right? Why? Just like this halacha. What does that mean? Because if you're doing that, you don't have the tumah on you. The entire tumah is only if you're walking Daled Amot. Here you're not walking Daled Amot. You're walking less than Daled Amot. You stop. You're resting, and then you continue going. However, though others they argue and they say no, you're supposed to run. Why? They say not only do you have the proof from here that, let's say, okay, even if you're going to say it's a little bit lower level, but he says it all depends what the reason is. He says over there the reason was because you have tumah. So when you wake up in the morning, you have tum'ah until you do Netilat Yadayim. So he says the opposite. You should run, because the more that you run, the quicker you're going to get the tum'ah off of you. But if you're going to come and you're going to start doing a less than Daled Amot, you have the tum'ah, you're prolonging that the tum'ah is going to be by you. So therefore, again, this is actually coming out of machloket, that even though we're seeing it here to do with halachot, that if a person got confused, and now he doesn't know what to do. What should he do? Should he walk less than Daled Amot, or should he run? Either or, you do have a heter of whichever one that you're going to do. However, though, to do Netilat Yadayim, that is also going to be the same machloket. Which one is better? Should it be that you're going to go less and less than Daled Amot, or running to get the tumah off of you? But these again are two different scenarios of how to work out that if you cannot give it to a goy to watch over your property, right, to your possessions, so then what you'll be able to do is you'll either be able to do, like we said yesterday, walking less than Daled Amot, or you're going to be running and not stopping whatsoever, and when you get to your house, you throw it right into your house. By the way, just to finish, the same halacha applies now. Let's say we have an eruv here in Surfside. And let's say it could be that you're not going to be somech on the eruv. For whatever reason it is, you're not going to rely upon the eruv. What you're allowed to do is that since it's only going to be a drabbanan, and if it is that if you really do need to rely upon it, even though you don't rely upon it, what you're allowed to do is that you open up the door of your house and you take your whatever it is, your utensil, whatever it is that you have to take, I don't know what, your sefer, whatever it is, and you go in one shot, which means that you're not stopping. Because as long as you're going in one shot, you don't have to mamash run as if you're running in the Olympics. You don't have to do that. But as long as you're not stopping and you're going and you're going and you're going quickly, and you go and you don't stop whatsoever, so therefore what happens is, in such a scenario, again, it was another derabbanan. Once it's another derabbanan, since anyway, nowadays, there's no Reshut Abim Doraita. Again, it's a Rabbanan and Rabbanan. So therefore, again, you have what to rely on if you're going to do it in such a scenario.